The first time I smelled that smell, I was 12 years old. It was a May evening after 3 days of rain. I was looking out my bedroom window. My father was outside. He was digging behind the shed. Not a hole for a tree, not a hole for a fence. He was digging at 2 in the morning in a raincoat under freezing rain. The next day, the smell arrived. Sweet, disgusting, like meat left too long in a broken refrigerator. My father said it was a rat, that the humidity was making the sewers back up. I was 12, so I believed him. I'm 13 now. The smell never went away. Our house is like every other on Chestnut Street. Green lawn, white shutters, American flag neatly folded on the mantel. But inside, I know the rules. Rule number 1, you never go behind the shed. Rule number 2, you never ask questions about Dad's work. Rule number 3, if someone knocks on the door after 9 o'clock, you turn off all the lights and you don't make a sound. My mother, Elena, has been repeating them since I was a child. At first, like a game. Now her voice trembles when she says them. That morning, a grey Monday in October, I came home from school early. Flu. Headache. I crossed the backyard to avoid the neighbor, Mrs. Donnelly, who always asks too many questions. That's where I saw the hand. It was sticking out of the ground behind the shed. 3 dirty fingers, broken nails, a blue plastic hospital bracelet, like the ones they put on you at the hospital. I stepped back. I wanted to run, but my feet wouldn't move. I walked closer. I dug a little with a branch. The soil was soft, greasy, recently turned. The hand was attached to a wrist, the wrist to an arm. The skin was gray, cold. I didn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it. I covered the hand back up. I put the branch back where it was. Then I went inside, went to the bathroom, and threw up for 10 minutes. My father came home at exactly 7:14 p.m., like every night. He put down his briefcase, hugged my mother without smiling, then asked if I had done my homework. I said yes. He said I looked pale. I said it was the flu. He stared at me. I know my father was trained to read people. It's his job. FBI Special Agent, Cold Case Division. He tracks liars. He exposes them. I held his gaze. Calm. Neutral. I've learned. He told me to go to bed early. I said, yes, Dad. That night, I couldn't sleep. I listened. The house has its own sounds. The creak of the third stair, the click of the radiator, my mother's breathing as she dreams badly. But that night, there was something else. Footsteps. In the yard. I crawled to the window. My father was outside, flashlight in hand, standing in front of the shed. He wasn't digging. He was watching, waiting, as if he was making sure that what was buried stayed buried. And then he turned, slowly. His eyes crossed the yard, crossed the glass, crossed the darkness, and stopped exactly on me. My father smiled. Then he raised his hand. Not a threat, a sign of peace, or a reminder. I backed away. I slipped under my covers, and for the first time in my life, I was afraid of the man who read me stories at night. The next day, I did what I should never have done. I went back behind the shed, in broad daylight, with a trash bag, a camping shovel, and the promise that I would stop as soon as it became too much. I dug for 2 hours. The earth slowly gave up its secret. An arm, a shoulder, a tangle of blonde hair, a pink t-shirt that was too small, a star-shaped scar on the ribcage, a silver locket around the neck. I opened the locket. Inside, a photo, a girl who looked like the dead one, but alive, laughing in front of a birthday cake. And on the back, a handwritten name, Mia, age 9, love you forever. I closed the locket. I didn't put it back around the dead girl's neck. I slipped it into my pocket. I was 13 years old. I had just stolen the only piece of evidence linking a murdered child to my father. My mother was never like other mothers. She doesn't work, doesn't go out, doesn't have friends. She cooks, she cleans, she recites the rules. But that night, I found her in the laundry room, sitting on the floor, a shoebox open on her lap. Inside, letters, photos, newspaper clippings. I called out to her, "Mom!" She jumped. She closed the box too fast. She told me to go to my room. I said I found something in the yard. Her eyes widened. Not surprise, fear. The fear of being found out. The fear of being spoken about. She told me I found nothing. I insisted. A girl. Her name is Mia. My mother stood up. She grabbed me by the shoulders too hard. She told me to listen very carefully. Your father is a dangerous man, not because he wants to hurt people, but because he can't stand having what he does questioned. He believes everything is justified. And if you talk to him about that girl, I asked what? She answered, voice breaking, that he would bury me next to her. The next day, I did something I would regret for the rest of my life. I contacted the FBI. Not officially, I used the anonymous tip form on the website. I wrote, "An FBI agent is hiding a body in his yard. The child's name is Mia. The house is on Chestnut Street." 3 hours later, a black car pulled up in front of my house. Agent Mayfield was a woman in her 40s, gray suit, hair tied back, eyes that never blink. She rang the bell. My father opened the door. I watched from the stairs. She said they needed to talk. My father stayed perfectly calm. He smiled. He invited Mayfield in. He offered her coffee. He asked what this was about. She said an anonymous tip had been made, very serious. My father said he got 20 of those a day. Most of them were false. Mayfield clarified that this one mentioned a buried child. My father repeated, "At my house?" Mayfield confirmed, "That's what it says." My father laughed, a soft, sorry, almost paternal laugh. He said he had spent 20 years solving missing children cases. "If I had a body in my yard, do you really think I wouldn't have taken more precautions?" Mayfield didn't flinch. She asked if he had anything against a small inspection. My father looked at her. Then he shrugged. He said, "Go ahead, but you're wasting your time." I watched him. He was too relaxed, too confident. Why? Because he had moved the body? Or because he knew Mayfield would never dig deep enough? Mayfield went out into the yard. She walked around the shed. She looked at the freshly turned soil. She took a photo. Then she came back. She said, "Okay, thank you for your time." And she left. I collapsed inside. I had risked everything for nothing. Midnight. The landline rang. My father answered. I listened. My bedroom door cracked open. He said, "Good evening, Mayfield." "No, I don't have a body in my yard. What you saw was a buried dog. My wife was very attached to it. A golden retriever, yes. I understand your concern, but really, you're getting worked up over nothing." He asked if she remembered the Cooper case, the guy who killed his wife and buried the pieces in the park. "We worked together. You almost got yourself killed, and I saved your life. Do I look like a man who hides bodies?" He said, "Thank you. I know this is hard. Sleep well." He hung up. I heard him come up the stairs. The footsteps stopped outside my room. The doorknob turned. The light came on. He asked if I had been listening. I said no. He said my name again. I swore I hadn't, Dad. He said, voice like ice, that I had sent the tip. My heart stopped. He explained. The anonymous form. Mayfield told him the exact time it was sent. I was supposed to be at school, but the flu had kept me home, and I was the only one here with a computer. My father sat down on my bed. He didn't yell, he didn't threaten. He took my hand. He asked with a false softness if I wanted to know who Mia was. I didn't answer. He told me that Mia was the daughter of a drug dealer he had arrested 5 years earlier. The guy's name was Victor Reyes. He had sworn revenge. He had killed 4 FBI agents in 3 years. So my father had gone after him. He had put his daughter under surveillance. He had protected her. And one day, Victor kidnapped her. He slit her throat on a Snapchat live stream for my father, to show him that he could touch the people he loved. He squeezed my hand tighter. He said he found her body 3 days later. He didn't call the authorities because Victor had informants everywhere. As long as no one knew he had Mia, Victor thought she was still missing. And as long as he was looking for her, he wasn't going after other kids. He kept her here. He protected her, even dead. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. I wanted to believe my father, but I couldn't, because in my pocket I had the locket, and on the back of the photo there was a date. Not the date of the kidnapping, not the date of the murder, the manufacturing date of the locket. I checked everything. The locket had been made 3 months earlier. Mia was supposed to have been dead for 5 years, according to my father. So why was there a brand new locket around her neck? I called Agent Mayfield, not through the form, over the phone. I said I wanted to know everything about the Victor Reyes case. She asked why. I said because my father is lying, and I think he killed that girl. Mayfield was silent for a long time. Then she told me to meet her tomorrow, 2 p.m., the park, alone. Mayfield arrived with a stack of papers. Her face was pale. She told me that Victor Reyes never killed his daughter. He died in prison 4 years ago, heart attack. He never had informants. He never threatened my father. My father made up that whole story. I read the documents. My father was never assigned to the Reyes case. He never saved Mayfield. He never found Mia. So why was Mia in his yard? Mayfield pulled out a photo. A blonde girl, pigtails, a toothless smile. She told me her name was Mia Olsen. She had disappeared 6 months ago. Her father was a mailman. Her mother was a nurse. Normal people. People my father didn't know. I was trembling. I asked why. She said she didn't know yet, but she was going to find out. My father knew I had betrayed him. When I got home, he was waiting for me, sitting in the dark, a rifle across his lap. He said he had gotten a call. Mayfield had just requested a search warrant. In 3 hours, this house would be full of agents. So he was going to ask me one question, one time. What did you tell Mayfield? I stepped back. I said I told the truth. He asked, your truth or mine? He stood up. For the first time, I saw something else in his eyes. Not anger, fear. A deep, animal, desperate fear. He told me he didn't kill Mia Olsen. He found her in the woods, already dead. He brought her here because if he had reported it, they would have opened an investigation, and they would have found something else. I asked, what? He answered, voice breaking, things he had done, mistakes, cases where he had protected the wrong people, innocent people who paid the price. He knelt in front of me. He cried. He said he wasn't a hero. He wasn't even a good cop, but he wasn't a child killer. He swore it to me. I wanted to believe him. I wanted so badly to believe him. But the locket, the date, the lie about Victor Reyes. I asked him who killed Mia. He raised his head. His eyes were red. His voice was barely a whisper. He said, me. But it wasn't on purpose. It was an accident. She broke in. I surprised her. She screamed. I panicked. I hit her. I stepped back further. I asked why he brought her here. He said he didn't know what else to do, that he was terrified. And then his voice broke. He said it was because he loved me, and he was afraid of losing me. The sirens in the distance. Mayfield was coming. I had 3 minutes to decide. Believe my father and help him escape, or turn him in to the police. I looked at that man, the one who taught me to ride a bike, who carried me when I had a fever, who told me I love you every night before I went to sleep. I took the locket out of my pocket. I set it on the table. I said, my voice calm and final, "Go to sleep, Dad." Then I opened the door. 6 months later, I live with my aunt, 3 hours away. I don't talk to my father anymore. He's in pre-trial detention, charged with involuntary manslaughter and obstruction of justice. Mia Olsen's autopsy revealed something my father never said. She had traces of sedatives in her blood, far too much for a 9-year-old child. The investigation was reopened. Other bodies were discovered near the shed. Not all of them linked to my father, but enough to understand that he wasn't alone. Victor Reyes, the dealer, never died in prison. He was released last year. He lives in Nevada. He sent me a letter. "Your father didn't kill my daughter. He helped me hide her because he owed me a favor, a very old favor." I didn't open the letter. I burned it. Sometimes at night, I dream about the hand sticking out of the ground. I wake up sweating, my heart pounding, and I wonder if my father ever really loved me, or if I was just another thing to protect, another thing to bury. I'll never have the answer, and maybe that's the real horror.